Hello, everyone, and welcome to our learning clinic. This is our third learning clinic cross-regional Let's Connect Grantee Partners Learning Conversation. I am Sirine Ben Brahim, the MENA liaison for Let's Connect. I'm going to facilitate the session with my colleague, Chino. We welcome our sharers today for this session. We have Ivana from Wikimedia Serbia. We have Melissa and Carlo from WikiAccion Peru. And then we have Galder from Basque, Wikimedia's user group. Before we start with our Connect-a-thon, we want to know about the lecture, the culture of Let's Connect. So Let's Connect is a peer learning program that is operated as a joint community foundation initiative. We are here to have a good time. We make people feel comfortable and confident, and we have something to learn from anyone, no matter the experience. So for today, the agenda is we're going to have an introduction. We already introduced Let's Connect. We're going to know more about the learning clinic, and then we're going to follow it with an icebreaker for 5 minutes. And then we're going to move on to listening from Wikimedia Serbia. Following that, we have the Basque Wikimedians user group, WikiAccion Peru, and then we're going to have a Q&A session with the sharers, and then group reflections, and finally, we're going to have the closure. I just want to remind everyone that we have interpretation available into French and Spanish. So if you want to listen to the interpretation, you can click on more, and then there is the interpretation with a globe icon. And then you can go to the channel, the desired language that you want to listen to. So I'm going to now hand it over to Agnes to know why are we here today in this learning clinic.
Thank you very much. Welcome everybody to this Let's Connect session today. My name is Agnes Brusik. I am the program officer for the Northern and Western European region at the Community Resources team of the Wikimedia Foundation. I am joined today by my colleague Mercedes Caso, our program officer for the Latin American and the Caribbean region. As program officers, we are following the implementation of over 100 annual programs by affiliates, volunteers, and individuals that we are providing financial support for. This takes the form of monitoring very closely, together with the Regional Funds Committee, the implementation of their programs through reporting and through learning conversations twice a year. We found during these conversations that a wealth of programmatic innovations, best practices, strategies, approaches, and methodologies are surfacing that would be quite useful, relevant, or just nice to share with other groups who are planning or implementing similar annual programs. Last year, therefore, we decided to organize these learning conversations in groups within each region to facilitate a certain level of exchange. For this process, we received a rather positive feedback. And now, thanks to the Let's Connect organizing team, we are given this fantastic opportunity to try out elevating these conversations beyond the regions and be able to invite the global Wikimedia community to cross-regional grantee conversations. I really would like to thank the Let's Connect team for the really hard work in organizing for us 3 sessions, each with 3 General Support Fund grantees from different regions. This current session being the 3rd and the last of the series in September. The previous 2 sessions hosted Wiki in Africa, Wiki Advocates Philippines, and the Indic Media Wiki Developers User Group, and Wikimedia Canada, Wikimedia Morocco, and Wikimedia Community User Group Malta. The recordings and the materials of those previous 2 sessions will be soon available on the Let's Connect Programs calendar page. And today, we welcome Ivana Madžarević from Wikimedia Serbia, Galder Gonzalez from the Basque Wikimedian User Group, and Carlo Brescia and Tamani from WikiAccion Peru, who will share for us their programmatic highlights, their implementations challenges, and their main learnings, and their potential support needs. Thank you for joining us and for your interest in this group's excellent work. As we see it, you will have the opportunity to raise questions to the presenters in the chat, in the retro board, and also in the Q&A session later as well. We really hope that the session will be interactive and useful for all of you, and that you will walk away with learning and inspirations from this session. Thank you very much for being here. And again, thank you for the Let's Connect team to provide us this opportunity. I give the floor back now. Thank you.
If I can just chime in, if speakers can please speak slowly. I've gotten notices from the interpreters they can't catch up, so please speak slowly. There's time so that they can translate for our participants. Thank you.
I apologize if I was too fast. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Thanks. Okay, hello everyone. I am Chimu. I'll be the in charge for next 5 minutes for the bigger task of breaking the ice together. So it's time for our icebreaker. For the icebreaker, I'll be asking you a question, and here goes the link to the retro board where you can follow and leave your responses. Or you can leave your response in the chat. If you want to unmute yourself also, you can do that, and we'll be happy to take your responses in any of these three forms. So the icebreaker question that we have for today is, what is something that you have accomplished in the last 2 to 3 years that you are super proud of? This could be anything related to Wiki, not related to Wiki, related to any skill you learned, maybe any task that you accomplished, any book that you read, anything which you would like to share with us. Okay, since I'm breaking the ice, let me go first. So I I resumed my habit of reading books while all the time I was at home during the pandemic. And I have completed almost 200 books as of now in last 2-3 years. And yeah, it's a lot of insights and super fun things that I feel proud of. Oh, we have interesting responses on the retro board. Somebody wrote, I finished 10 paintings. Wow. Published kids' books. Wonderful. So we have authors with us. Congratulations. Maintaining a project with 5 workers. Wow, wonderful. We all know that like working alone is less hectic than working with the team, and people management is a different skill altogether. Okay, do we have any response in the chat? Those who are joining right now, we are in the icebreaker slot, and this is the link in the chat that you can follow to go to the first column of the retro board, which is our icebreaker question. The question is, what is something that you have accomplished in the last 2 to 3 years that you are super proud of? You can either leave your response on the retro board, you can mark your responses in the chat, or if you want to give us the opportunity to hear you, you can simply unmute and share your thoughts. There is another response on the retro board. Discovering and learning new non-violent communication skills. Yay! To our dear audience, this topic of non-violent communication was also an learning clinic topic that we conducted in Wikimedia this year. And this is a very interesting topic. Who would like to explore on themselves, please go back, Google it. And there are several courses available related to the nonviolent communication. And this is essential for us, for the people, for the volunteers in the open knowledge movement. Somebody wrote, I joined the Let's Connect. We are so glad that you feel proud of this. Thank you so much, whoever has written this. Okay, I can't understand what is the next statement. Is it in Spanish? Okay, the last one says, start swimming consistently. Wow.
Yeah, the one in Spanish says, I learned about the Wikimedia world.
Oh, wow. Thank you, Mercedes. There is a question in the chat from Cassie, who published kid's book. Please, I request the responder to be generous enough to share with us. Who published the kids? I did. It's Agnes. Wow. We have like hidden talents around us. We need to explore it more regularly. Okay, I see 3 more people joining the room. Hello to those who are joining. We are right now at the icebreaker, and here is the link in the chat to the Easily True board. The first column is for our icebreaker. And the question is, what is something that you have accomplished in the last 2 to 3 years that you feel super proud of? You can leave your comment in the retro board or in the chat, or can unmute yourself and share with us. Okay, we are on time. I'll just wait for another 1 minute before we go for our next thought. Whoever has written about swimming, I appreciate you. Because I know swimming has a lot of benefits, not only to the physical health, but also it relaxes the, like there have proven scientific reasons why swimming is good for both physical and mental health. This is a good motivation, at least for me, for this week. Thank you for mentioning this here. Okay. Do we have any? Yes, we have. I have a variety of funding sources and monitored them. Wow, managing finances is really tough task. We are also proud of you. Down from 86 to 76, please. What is it about? Okay. Do you have any other response in the chat? No. Okay. Thank you for everyone for taking part in the icebreaker. Now we will go to our sharer, and I'll pass it on to Ivana, who is the executive director of Wikimedia Serbia. Over to you, Ivana.
Hi all, thank you, Chinu. So you'll share the slides. So hello everyone. As Chinu mentioned, I'm Ivana Madžarević from Wikimedia Serbia. I work as executive director, and I'm here to present some of the work that we've been doing so far. And I hope it will serve as inspiration for some of you to maybe try something in your work. Please just remind me to speak slowly because I speak really fast. So just give me a message in the chat. So yes, first of all, I want to make a quick introduction for Wikimedia Serbia. Basically, we are a chapter from 2005, and we have a lot of work to do during all of these years. But right now we have 3 programs: education program, GLAM, and diversity program. We have 5 staff members, 7 board members, and around 200 members of the organization. Of course, not all members of our organization are active, but we do have a lot of projects with project teams, so a lot of people involved in our work. So as for the our work, we are focusing on our strategy that was developed from 2024 to 2026, and these are our main goals, strategic goals. So basically, of course, free knowledge with specific focus on its quality. Okay, also creating this leadership role in the region, so we can actually strengthen the cross-regional cooperation with the Wikimedia affiliates in the region, and therefore achieve a greater impact in our joint work. Of course, we are focused a lot of on our partners, and not just within the Wikimedia, but also outside of the movement. And we are focusing on creating the sustainable and long-term cooperation. We want to make our community inclusive and as diverse as we can make it. So we are focusing on creating this healthy atmosphere on our project and on all of our activities. That's why inclusion and diversity are very important part of our work. And the last is decentralization of activities. We want to be present in a lot of cities in Serbia and create this sustainable network of volunteers who are participating in our activities, and also organic growth of our organization. So we are working on implementing this strategy with implementing these 3 programs: education, GLAM, and diversity program. And I think that we are all familiar with these kind of activities. All of these programs have specific projects within themselves that are focused, of course, on education, on collaboration with the GLAM institutions, and on inclusion and diversity. In our previous work, we had community support program, but this is the strategic line that is going through all of these programs that we have. Cassie, do you have a question?
If I could just say, please slow down on speaking so we can have our interpreters catch up. Thank you.
Okay, sorry, I'll try. And next slide, we can go to the next slide. In this 20 minutes, I try to just pull out some of the most important outcomes that we achieved so far. Of course, we cannot present here all of the things that we've done in this year, but I'm focusing more on 2 types of outcomes. The first one is how we do it, so the ways we are doing this. And the second type of outcome is what we have done. So in the first type, we are actually trying to expand activities and explore new partnerships. For example, within the education program, we are not just working with faculties and schools that we've worked so far. We are also partnering with a cultural institution, Božidareць, creating the specific education trainings for adults. This is quite let's say famous institution in Serbia, which is providing a lot of training types for their target groups. So I think we will increase the visibility of our organization and work as well. The second thing that I wanted to mention here is project applications with partners. So we've got one approved program from Ministry of Culture. This is Wikipedia in Residence, and we are not just getting funds, we are also getting support in terms of collaborations with different types of cultural institutions. We are still waiting. We have one rejected, so not everything is a success, of course, but we are still waiting for one result of the project application. So the next slide is presenting the outcomes, some of the outcomes, of course, as I mentioned, that we think that are really impactful for our community. We did the One Live, One Ref campaign in collaboration with University Library Svetozar Marković in Belgrade, and this is the campaign that my colleague is leading on global and CE level, so coordination on that, and we are very, very glad to see a lot of responses from our community. So the Serbian community actually won first prize in this campaign. We organized Wiki Live conference. This is a local Wikipedian conference, and we started some of the AI topics with external lecturer in terms of how we can use this tool or how this can affect our work. We are trying to talk about that with our community. We are very proud on our diversity activities. As I mentioned, we have a diversity program, which means that we have various let's say, field of activities in terms of working with underrepresented groups, working with marginalized groups, or working together with them on increasing the content on Wikipedia and on other, of course, Wikimedia projects. Microgrants projects are quite successful in Wikimedia Serbia. This is very familiar with us, but for new communities, I think it's a really good way to attract new people in the movement, meaning that we are attracting new editors and contributors, and not just the new ones, but also the volunteers who have been working on their project as well. So making them their project sustainable in that way. So this is the project that is having low risk, but a lot of results at the end. Research project, we did it in this year and in the last year. So this is about the new editor's motivation. In this presentation, I have linked results of the project, so you can see what we found out and what are our conclusions on new editors motivation and how we can improve that on our project. This is not done within our annual plan. This is done from the research funds from the Wikimedia Foundation. And we also prepared education brochure, which representing our outcomes in the education program, which is one of the largest program in our work. And this is still not available on Commons, but it will be soon. So if someone is interested, you can read it. I'll send it afterwards. Next slide. Yes, so I wanted to mention some of the challenges that we had, and these challenges are quite specific for our organization, but maybe it can be useful for someone. Because we are a small team, changing the staff member is affecting our work a lot. So we had a change of staff member in the beginning of the year, so it was diversity manager. And in order to have this smooth transition and make this onboarding process easier, and so that all of the activities can be organized, we chose the experienced community member and former Wikipedian in residence. And I wanted to mention that we are fully remote, and that this person is working on the south of Serbia, which is also something that we really want to cherish in terms of decentralization and supporting the community in the south of Serbia. The second challenge is something that we are all facing, probably. Those are conflicts between project team members. Okay, I have 10 more minutes. Thank you. We have conflicts between project team members, and here we try to do this moderation and to create this clear set of rules and expectations, so that everyone can actually hear each other, and so the project can be saved at the end. So we can go to next slide. So a lot of challenges in our work were connected to finance in terms of inflation, and in some cases we have a 100% expense increase, and for example for hotels for scholarship. So basically we had to be creative here to find some in-kind donations, to give part scholarship, to decrease number of scholarship, and to actually save that event from not organize it. Then we have had a loss of government benefits. So if we are choosing the person who didn't have job before, we have special government benefits in Serbia. And because of the change that I've mentioned in this previous slide, we have this loss of those benefits. So basically, we try to reallocate the funds and try to get some additional grants and support and control our budget even more. We can go to the next slide. So as for the issues and concerns, I think that we are in our local context do have some of the challenges, but for example, these issues that we do have concerns about are more related to maybe global things that are happening in the movement, specifically for the movement charter and what happens next, how do we go from here, what do we do from here, and this is important to mention because our local Wikipedia community is not so interested in this process, but rather we as Wikimedia Serbia are trying to translate those voices onto the global level. This is the month that we are working on our annual plan. What is challenging is that we have the same amount of activities without some bigger budget increase, so it will be challenging to create that. We are currently working on that, and we do have some wishes to grow, to develop some of the things that we are working on, but it is really difficult to do that without funds. We also have this situation with one toxic community member. This is the person who has a global ban on Wikimedia projects, but it still is something somehow managing to create a lot of fake accounts to vandalize Serbian Wikipedia, and this is the thing that we really have some concerns about. Also, I wanted to mention new technologies and generative AI. So we are talking about how to be more flexible for adapting to these new technologies. Next slide. So as for the types of support and resources, this is what I'm saying here is also something that I'm thinking on a global level, and we as community are thinking about on a global level. So we want to see more responsiveness and accountability for the things that have been done, timely and transparent communication. And I have to say a huge thanks to Agnes, who's been actually providing us with some updates and information which are very useful in this period of applying to the general support grants. We want to see this collective vision in our movement, and of course the things that we want to work on our fundraising strategies, but currently we don't have capacities for that, but we are thinking and talking about that, how we can get some support in that terms. Yeah, next slide. So also I wanted to mention some of the improvements that we are planning for the next year. We are creating these new KPIs in order to better evaluate and measure our impact. This is the thing that these are some of the indicators that we already measured, but we didn't represented them. So we are changing that now. We are applying for the 2-year plan for better stability, and we are trying and exploring new calls for project to get some additional funds. And not just that, as I said, we want to grow, we want to develop, we want to try new things and new innovations. That's why we are thinking about new types of collaboration with our partners, for example, for the projects that we want to create better access for people with visual problems and difficulties. So I think that was it from me. But if you want to reach out, if you want to ask me something additional, as I said, it was really hard to do this in the 20 minutes. So if you want to reach out, feel free to do that. This is my mail, and you will probably have this as follow-up material. Thank you. think we have
Thank you so
room
much,
for one
Ivana.
question.
Yes, we will take next 5 minutes to take 1 or 2 questions that we already have on the Easy Retro board.
Oh, a lot of questions.
Yeah, we will not take all the questions right here. We'll take just
Mhm.
top 2 as of now, and we will keep the rest for the Q&A session after all 3 sharers are done. So,
Okay, so
we will go for the first question. Yes.
yeah. So, what is the most effective approach to retain active volunteer organizers? From our experience, the best way to do it is to give them something to work on it. If someone is actually reach out to us and say, okay, for example, we have EduWiki camp, and after that, some volunteers want to work on it. You give them the work right away, because sometimes we say, okay, we have workshops in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. I think this is the most common mistake, but rather to give them to work something right away, and also to provide them the sense of belonging to the community. So make them their own mails or their visit cards, or invite them to meetups, create this network meetups and gatherings where they can actually feel that they are part of the group, they're part of something bigger. And in our cases, I know that a lot of volunteers liked the sense of belonging in the global community. So not just in local sense, okay, we are the Serbian Wikipedia contributors, but okay, this is a very large a story behind all of the things that we are doing on a local level. So I think that constantly giving the efforts to create them some of the tasks, but of course tasks that they will like, and creating for them sense of belonging. So networking, belonging, and connecting those volunteers. Should I go to the next question?
Yes, we have 3 minutes
Okay.
time, so we can
Okay.
take it.
So the adult education sessions are certified or recreational free time courses for adults? No, these are not certified yet. This cultural institution, Božidareць, they have a lot of trainings, and they're announcing those trainings and providing those trainings for everyone who are interested. And right now we are in the process of creating our own training in that specific institution. So we did one of those trainings, but we are still working on creating the methodology. How are we going to do that? What approach we are going to apply? How we are going to reach out to those adults that we are working on. Let's just say we have Wiki Senior program, and Wiki Senior program is something different. So we are working on this on that with Belgrade City Library, and we currently we are applying for that training to be certified, but this is really different because of the type of people. So seniors are seniors, and adults are a larger group of people who want to be involved in that. Do I have something on chat? Yeah,
Not yet, Ivana.
Okay. Thank
I
you for
really
these
appreciate.
questions.
Yes, we have so many questions. We will take it in the Q&A. And I really appreciate the first response that you gave, like understanding the volunteers' interest and prioritizing it. It's actually an essential point we all should adapt. And it's so good to see that you have experimented and implementing this strategic way of advancement where you know that what is my next step, you know what are the resources essential. And thank you for the questions, and thank you for Ivana for the responses. Okay, in the meantime, when we proceed to the next slot, Ivana, you can have a look at the retro board with the remaining questions and prepare your answers. Now we will pass on to Galder, who is from the Basque Wikimedians user group. He's the ED for the user group. And over to you, Galder.
good day. Thanks for this opportunity to talk about our project. And we'll try to navigate on what we are doing because this year we have been changing a lot of things. So please, next slide. So the Basque Wikimedia user group started as a user group in 2016 and currently has also 5 staff members as Wikimedia Serbia. Our board is smaller. We have 5 board members, and membership is up to more than 50, actually more, but the active members are not so much. Our main budget comes from the Basque government since 2017 with a lot of things we have been doing, mostly on education, but also in Basque language, working and improving the Basque language Wikipedia. So we have been working with that budget. And since this year, we have started to have also Wikimedia Foundation grant, which is a smaller and not covering everything I'm going to tell, but yes, you know that we have different budgets and our main budget still comes from the Basque government. Next slide, please. So currently, we are working on education. We have been working on education since 2017. We started from universities, and mostly we have been teaching students how to write on Wikipedia, and they have been writing on topics that could be useful for secondary students. So we have created an ecosystem where university students write about not mainly the topics they are researching at university, but topics that must be interesting for other students who will come in the future. From there, we opened our commitment from university to secondary schools and from there to elementary schools. So we are doing mainly all the university, all the education system. We are not doing adult education like in Serbia, but now we are adding new layers for teachers. So teachers are also know how to use Wikipedia, how to use in the classroom, and how to make things. So I will talk about that later. Another thing we are working on heavily is multimedia. We have a project called Ikusgela, which provides educational pedagogical videos, short videos from 4, 8 minutes, something like that, in relevant topics for students. We are doing that, uploading them to Commons and to Wikipedia, but also sharing social media, sharing in YouTube, and sharing by other channels. Our purpose should be to have everything like centralized on media and Commons, but currently it's impossible because Commons isn't working properly. Inside this multimedia project, we are also investing in new narratives, way to tell things in articles in a shorter way, having text-to-speech and these kind of things. And this year we have been pivoting. I will talk about this later, but from a project, education project, to a grant project, that is history of the Basque Country in Gonzalez subjects. We are working with many museums. Our goal is to work with around 30 museums in the region. So we are trying to change from a merely education project to an education plus plan project. Also, some of our members are working on gender equality, but this is not something we are doing with the staff members. It's something that is done mainly by volunteers, but are quite active, and well, they are doing their job. I mentioned this because it's not something that we are doing from the office where we are all the staff members, but it's also relevant. And this year, and this comes from the office, we have been working on a style guide for LGBT people, how to treat it, how to work on that, and we have been working with some associations that are interested on the topic. And we are doing communications. That is something that I think is really relevant. We are communicating what we do. We are communicating what we have in Wikipedia. We are doing it in social media. And we are doing it, well, I'm not going to say great, because there are others that are making it better, but quite well. And quite well compared with the Wikimedia Foundation ones, which is doing this with a lot of stuff. And we are doing it like okay, in the time we have, and yeah, it's working, and that is also helping to improve the reputation of Wikipedia. So I think that's also an interesting part of the work we are doing. Next slide, please. So some outcomes we have in the last year that I think that are relevant. We had more than 7,000 students in our education program, and I say more, there are way more because you know that sometimes the students make one account for a group assignment. So actually there will be more. For having some perspective, this is 1% of all the people who speak Basque. So imagine that in English or in Spanish or French, it will be a huge, massive project. Well, it's only 7,000, but it's. I mean, in all the education systems in the Basque Country, there are 300,000, something like that. So imagine how many people we are talking about. We have launched Wikipedia, that is the only encyclopedia for children inside Wikipedia. This is a really great project that for non-dominant languages is quite interesting. We are having lots of visits there. Students at the schools are working with Wikipedia. My daughter, we had she's 8 years old, and we had the presentation in the school, and the teachers told us that this year or next one, we are going to work with your children in Wikipedia. So it's something that is autonomous. People is working there, and I was proud. Now I'm more because it's something that I'm seeing that is working also in schools. So we have created a full education ecosystem, and now we are working in providing the education system has changed, and now they are working in like projects for teachers have to create projects for students instead of subjects. So what we are doing is having some external experts who are working with us in creating projects where Wikipedia can be used. Like it can be anything. It can be migrations, and then you make something in Wikipedia, or it can be biodiversity, or it can be whatever you want that's working that inside Wikipedia. So we are going to do that now. We have our two first projects just launching this Friday. So yeah, this is something that we are doing now, and I think this will also create like a wider ecosystem. For our Ikusgera project, we have more than 100 videos produced now, like 80, 90 are uploaded, but we have way more waiting for this year. As said, Basque Wikipedia has quite a good reputation inside the Basque Country, and we are trying to make it happen via communication. What we do, answering questions, interacting with teachers, interacting with the professors, and I think that that's interacting with press, and I think that that's something that is really relevant for smaller languages. Also, it's relevant for larger languages, but it's more difficult because the ecosystem is larger. And we have more than 30% of women biographies. The trick is that we don't have so many biographies, but actually, I mean, it's 30% biographies, which is, I think, 21,000 or something like that. And in our goal for the next year, we'll be rising to 33%, like 1/3 of the biographies will be women. So yeah, we are working on that with also with high schools. Like sometimes students have to make a biography for a woman with these volunteers. So next slide, please. So yeah, some challenges we are having. The first one was that we are pivoting from education to GLAM, but without abandoning any of the projects we had. So that's actually impossible because the day has 24 hours for everyone. So making more things with the same time is complex. So what we are trying is to lower a little bit what we were doing in education. We have been for some years like really making a big effort there. But now we are trying to make other things, so we have to lower a little bit what we were doing in education. Another challenge is that Wikimedia is technologically obsolete, and well, the Wikimedia Foundation is not moving to improve that, and that's really evident when you are working on multimedia, interactive content for children, or whatever, that we are heavily based on text and images. and it's not working. And so, yeah, we are having some problems there that could be solved with some investment from the Wikimedia Foundation itself. And well, we don't have results in some areas. Like, for example, we are doing videos, but we can't know how many people is watching the videos because we don't have a stats system. So yeah, we can't justify what we are doing towards the Basque government, which is our main funding source for those videos. So that makes, well, it's complex. We always have to invent how we are justifying that and how we are making those statistics. So that's why we are also using YouTube or TikTok statistics instead of using Wikimedia stats. And in some other areas, in some other areas, well, we are trying new things, especially, we have another grant from the government of Navarra, that is another region, and we are trying some things like with librarians, etc., but it's quite complex to have an answer for everything, so that also makes difficult to justify what we are doing. So we have to also tell them like, oh, we have tried, we have meet with different people, but we didn't have an answer. So that's also something that it's not that everything is working. Some things are not working, and well, that's complex also to justify. Please, next slide now, yes. So we are changing from a set from mostly centering in education to other ideas that are quite different. What we are making is each project more semi-autonomous. Like, okay, I'm going to work now on GLAM, you are going to work on education, you're going to work on communications, and let's see how we manage that. I mean, we are 5 members. I'm technically the executive director, but I'm also a worker there. So I have to also make my speeches in university and be with the students or whatever. So we are trying not to be, everyone is doing everything. That can't work if you are doing lots of things. It can work if everyone is doing education, but not if everyone is doing different things. So we are trying to reshape that and start working on that. And that requires some skills that are not so easy to get. We are also reshaping the GLAM project. We started one idea. We have been with many museums. The reception is good, but we wanted to make more. We wanted to make some multimedia projects. And well, not everything is. Some of the ideas we had made us make the project more ambitious, but then it came like, okay, maybe we can't do so much. So we are doing lots of iterations from the original project. We have changed a lot higher, and now we are readjusting it. We are also externalizing very technical projects like video creation. We are externalizing pedagogical skills, and we are externalizing some of the press and communication issues. So not the social media communications, but design or some things like that. So that's something we are also doing. And we are trying to move the technological obsolescence we have with new ideas and projects. Some of them, like for example, having our goals in data, having interactive content or whatever. But most of them has been halted or blocked by the Wikimedia Foundation. So we are waiting for them to move. So next slide, please. Okay, so for me, the most important thing to learn will be how do other affiliates do when adding a whole new strategic project. I mean, Ivana said like they are going to work. They work with 3 projects. What if suddenly you have one new project? How do you manage to work on that? How do you manage to have like, instead of having 4 ideas to work on? And also, how can we manage the stuff when topics are so diverse? I mean, like my way of doing this is like centering one day of the topics, but I don't know if that's the best idea. So it's not easy for everyone to know what we are working on. We are working on a lot of things, so it's quite complex to know like what videos are we going to publish next week? What are we going to tweet about that? What are we going to, what articles need to be reviewed by students in the next week or whatever. So that's something that is more complex. For me, that will be the main thing to learn about. So I think that's it. Next slide. Oh no, there's more. So I think that actually I have been talking about this in lots of places, but the Wikimedia Foundation should move to improve our platform. The obsolescence is evident. It makes our audiences, especially young audiences and new audiences, not interested in what we are doing. And some partners prefer to publish in other places because they can have stats, or they can have 3D, or they can have interactive content. And that's also applied to museums. We have museums offering us great things that we can use. So yeah, if we want to make things better, if we want to make new audiences work, if we want to make students interested on what we are doing, and we need to make them excited about what they are doing, and our platform is not especially exciting. So I think that this is something that it should be a resource, or it should be a support that actually only the Wikimedia Foundation can do or manage, because the software is proprietary from them. And the other thing, I think I have mentioned that, but is our multimedia content is good. People is watching that, but our platforms are not. So we can't even share the statistic we have to our funding institutions, and that doesn't make sense. So for us, this is the things that are resources. In this case, very specific resources from the Wikimedia Foundation that could make not only our work better, but also having future audiences and also other people who is working in multimedia, GLAM, or whatever, to have a better understanding of what they are doing and have a better knowledge of how they interact with the content they are creating. And now I think it's finished. So please go to the slide. Yeah, thank you, Oscar Ricasco. I think we have time for questions. I will share all the links I have sent in the chat. I have seen lots of pop-ups about this.
Thank you so much, Galder, for your presentation. Now we can move on to maybe answering some questions. See, you have a lot of questions here, but we can take one or two questions for now. Maybe we can answer this. How do you ensure article quality when secondary school students create new articles?
Well, we don't. There are two ways for doing that. I mean, there are two different things on quality. One is the content quality, and the other one is the language quality. So for language quality, normally something that the teachers have to work on and have to help on. For content quality, is more difficult because sometimes our teachers know the topic, but it depends on what subject they are working on. For when secondary students, especially the younger ones, are working on Wikipedia, normally what they are doing is trying to summarize a Wikipedia article. So normally the content won't be so bad. Normally, I mean, sometimes there are things that are tricky, and there are more problems in the writing proficiency. So what we are trying is, when we are training teachers on how to use Wikipedia in their classroom, what we are trying is to always ask them to review the articles and correct it. But we have to assume that not everything that is published will be okay, and then there will be always mistakes, and everything can be done. Sometimes I read articles on Wikipedia and say, "Oh, this is pretty bad," and I was the writer. So I mean, not everything we do is perfect, and that's something we have to assume. But again, I mean, it's something that you have to work on with mainly with their teachers.
Thank you. Maybe, Galder, we can take another question.
Yeah.
The next one.
Okay, so I'm going to ask the two. Wikipedia has around 7,000 articles now. Our main learning, we have been trying different things. The main problem is that writing about very complex things is difficult for students and also for adults. I mean, writing something for younger audiences is more difficult than writing something for adult audiences, because we as adults know how to communicate somehow, but not how to communicate to children or to 8-10 years old young people. So our main learning will be that this is something that makes great addition for the project. In our case, students are loving it. Teachers are happy because the students are writing there. So it's a good project. The main learning will be, don't think that it will be high quality from the first moment. And also try to work on something that is known for students. We have been, for example, trying to make like biographies about sport women, and they don't know them, so the articles are not really great. But when they do something that is something that they have near or whatever, the results are great. So balancing what Wikipedia should have and what the students are going to write about, it's difficult. But if you want, I can share some links of students that are teachers that have been doing this for years, and the results are quite good on balancing.
Thank you so much, Galder. Maybe you can read the other questions, and maybe if we have time, we can answer them at the end of the session. Now we can move on to our next sharers, WikiAccion Peru.
Hola, yo voy a presentar primero. ¿Me confirman si puedo empezar?
Yes, I think you can go ahead.
Gracias.
Vale.
Muchas gracias por la invitación. Estamos muy contentos de estar acá y emocionados de poder recibir retroalimentación sobre lo que hemos venido haciendo. Queremos empezar hablando un poco acerca de qué es WikiAccion Perú. Somos formalmente una asociación civil con una misión Wikimedia. Esto está en nuestra acta de fundación, realizar actividades Wikimedia. Y esta asociación civil la fundamos en 2021, Carlo y yo. Ambos estamos en Perú, en distintas regiones. Y nosotros fuimos voluntarios Wikimedia durante muchos años. En mi caso, desde el 2015, a raíz de la campaña Arte y Feminismo, empecé a organizar campañas de edición en mi ciudad, en Lima, y en el caso de Carlo, él editaba desde el 2010 aproximadamente, y posteriormente empezó a hacer actividades vinculadas a ecología en Huaraz, que es una ciudad en la sierra de Perú. Para que se hagan una idea, Perú tiene más o menos 34 millones de habitantes, es un país grande, con mucha diversidad cultural, geográfica. Entonces nuestro contexto es complejo. Entonces decidimos fundar una asociación civil para poder realizar una serie de actividades con mayor constancia, porque antes organizábamos actividades solamente una vez por año o 2 veces por año. Y para eso adoptamos un modelo bastante experimental. Empezamos organizando un piloto que financiamos con fondos de la comunidad, el fondo de la comunidad de la Fundación Wikimedia, y la idea era formar una comunidad fuerte, wikimedista en Perú, pero vinculada a 3 ejes temáticos que ahora les voy a comentar. Bueno, hasta el momento llevamos 3 fases finalizadas. Cada fase constó en un año, y nuestra última fase, que es la fase 4, es de 2 años, de 2024 a 2026. Somos 3 integrantes en la asociación civil, somos 4 integrantes del staff, 2 colíderes, una persona de comunicaciones y una persona de apoyo en las comunicaciones. Y también contamos con un comité consultivo conformado por personas del movimiento y también activistas que están en diversos puntos de la región. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Bueno, ya tenemos entonces desde el 2021 trabajando y han participado en nuestras actividades cerca de 3.000 personas. Y tenemos un modelo de coliderazgo, por eso Carlo y yo estamos presentes aquí en la presentación, como una manera de, democratizar un poco más la toma de decisiones, y nuestro modelo organizacional nos permite tener bastante flexibilidad también en el momento de la toma de decisiones, que eso es algo que rescatamos bastante. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Nuestra misión es expandir el movimiento Wikimedia en Perú en base a 3 ejes temáticos que son ecología, género y cultura. Entonces, para ello queremos visibilizar las plataformas Wikimedia en nuestro país. Partimos de un contexto en el cual la comunidad wikipedista en Perú es pequeña, y la comunidad wikimedista en torno a estos temas que nosotros trabajamos es aún más pequeña, ¿no? Entonces tenemos que formar esta comunidad. Queremos aumentar, por supuesto, el número de personas peruanas que editan en las plataformas y reducir las brechas de conocimiento sobre estos 3 temas. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Estos son nuestros ejes temáticos. Ecología, trabajamos temas de la crisis climática porque en nuestros países es especialmente urgente tratar estos temas porque ya estamos viendo las consecuencias de la crisis climática. En el caso de género, vemos todo lo que tiene que ver con equidad de género y diversidades. Los derechos de las mujeres y diversidades en nuestro país están muy postergados. Entonces queremos contribuir a que haya una mejora en la calidad de vida de estos grupos. Y por último, en el eje de cultura, vemos varios temas, pero principalmente el tema de diversidad cultural. El Perú es un país sumamente diverso a nivel étnico, y hay muchas desigualdades estructurales que sufren los pueblos indígenas, las comunidades campesinas, el pueblo afroperuano, ahora la comunidad de inmigrantes también. Y también vemos allí el tema de derechos culturales, ¿no? El derecho a participar en la vida cultural, ser parte de la vida cultural del país, que es algo que también está postergado en nuestro país, y creemos que el movimiento Wikimedia puede apoyar a que esos derechos se ejerzan, ¿no? Estamos convencidos de ello. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor.
Next.
Gracias. Y bueno, nuestras estrategias las hemos ido afinando a lo largo de estos años, y creemos, por ejemplo, que es clave la articulación con personas y organizaciones que son afines a nuestros ejes temáticos y también a los principios del movimiento Wikimedia, ¿no? No podemos hacer este trabajo solos, tenemos que conocer y ponernos en contacto y trabajar con las personas que están en las comunidades a las que queremos servir. La segunda estrategia es la regularidad. Desarrollamos constantemente un programa bastante rico de actividades, que son de sensibilización, de capacitación, de contribución y promoción de los proyectos Wikimedia en Perú, Para ello utilizamos las formas de organización del movimiento Wikimedia, como editatones, salidas fotográficas, etcétera, pero también buscamos innovar en los tipos de actividades que ofrecemos a nuestra comunidad. Siguiente diapositiva. La tercera, nos parece fundamental tener un plan estratégico comunicacional. Tenemos por eso una persona de comunicaciones en el equipo de liderazgo, porque pensamos que hay que pensar desde la raíz cómo se va a comunicar lo que se está haciendo, los resultados y demás, ¿no? Gracias a este plan comunicacional hemos ganado mucha visibilidad a nivel nacional. Empleamos mucho las redes sociales, porque es allí donde está la comunidad en Perú, ¿no? Hay estadísticas que nos indican que en Perú se utilizan mucho las plataformas digitales y en específico las redes sociales. Entonces buscamos estar allí. Y por último está la gestión del conocimiento y el planeamiento estratégico. Nosotros tenemos esta visión de documentar cada paso, cada actividad que damos, con el fin de que si el día de mañana existe otro grupo de personas que quieren continuar nuestro trabajo, puedan saber lo que están haciendo. Y de hecho, el cambio en el liderazgo es uno de nuestros objetivos también, ¿no? Pero para eso creemos que tiene que haber documentación y también un plan en el largo plazo. Siguiente diapositiva, por favor. Aquí quiero verificar si me corresponde decir esta sección o si le corresponde a Carlo. Sí, esa es la última diapositiva que voy a presentar. Hemos tenido avances de los que estamos muy orgullosos. Vemos que ya hay un grupo de personas que participan de manera recurrente en nuestras actividades, que quieren colaborar con nosotros, que se ofrecen como voluntarias o que quieren gestionar actividades Wikimedia en sus comunidades, ¿no? Muchas veces ya sin la ayuda, sin la presencia directa de nosotros, sino simplemente nosotros como apoyo, ¿no? Eso se relaciona con el siguiente logro, que estamos avanzando en la transferencia de capacidades. Tenemos personas que ya están organizando proyectos Wikimedia casi de manera autónoma. Por ejemplo, tenemos una persona que ha postulado a un fondo rápido de la Fundación Wikimedia para hacer actividades en otra región donde nosotros no vivimos. Entonces, eso nos parece que es un paso importante que hemos dado. Y luego está los avances en la descentralización, como decía, pero es un país grande, con mucha desigualdad estructural. Las regiones fuera de la capital están muy postergadas. Entonces, estamos muy orgullosos de tener presencia a nivel nacional, de que la comunidad de WikiAccion proviene de distintos puntos del Perú y que nos estamos conectando, nos reunimos, planificamos acciones de manera descentralizada y no estamos como replicando desigualdades, que es algo muy común en nuestro país, ¿no? Eso, y le quiero dar el pase ahora a Carlo.
Sí, la siguiente. Gracias, Melissa. Saludos a todos. Next, please. Sí, es un país con muchos desafíos. Tenemos desafíos culturales, geográficos, pero también políticos, sociales, económicos, y más en estos momentos, ¿no? Entonces, en ese contexto hemos logrado avanzar en la construcción de una comunidad. Y aquí la comunidad, pues, hay que definirla, ¿no? O sea, se habla de comunidad, pero nuestra concepción de comunidad tiene que ver con nuestra visión, en donde ecología, cultura y género no son lugares o espacios que no se relacionan, sino se relacionan. La cultura, la ecología, el género, los derechos culturales, los derechos de género, los derechos de la naturaleza, de las comunidades originarias, derechos lingüísticos, todos son parte de los derechos humanos y nuestro abordaje es ese, ¿no? Somos una organización Wikimedia, pero tenemos un componente activista importante y en esa búsqueda de ampliar derechos en nuestro país, somos un actor que lo hace a través de las plataformas Wikimedia, de acceso libre al conocimiento, sin ninguna restricción, acceso libre a conocimiento neutral, referenciado, fiable. Y es así que buscamos una comunidad de activistas, una comunidad circular, una comunidad vibrante que se autorregenere y reciba muchos aportes. Buscamos recibir muchos aportes de las personas que se van sumando, porque creemos que esa es la base de una comunidad que se sostiene en base a muchas personas. Pueden haber personas que están a la cabeza, como nosotros en este momento, pero en un momento no estaremos y tenemos que ver que haya personas que nos reemplacen y que compartan esta visión horizontal, circular, femenina, aterrizada en principios naturales y de cuidado de la vida, en todas sus formas. Entonces, hemos tenido avances, ¿no? Hemos logrado tener personas que están participando regularmente, personas que se comunican, que nos dicen, creé este artículo, por favor revísenlo, y una comunidad que está empezando también a revisar los artículos de los otros. Entonces yo como wikimedista que empezó en 2006 a editar, pues ahora siento que están las bases para seguir construyendo contenidos en estos 3 ejes temáticos en base a una comunidad que los crea y los mantiene, que es muy importante. Había muchas brechas de contenidos de estos temas sobre Perú en Wikipedia y hemos en estos 3 años avanzado esto, ¿no? Entonces la comunidad de editores y editoras es clave. Siguiente. Y esa comunidad se basa también en trasladar conocimientos y capacidades, ¿no? Capacity building. Y esto lo hacemos a través de los talleres presenciales, los talleres virtuales. Hicimos cursos de justicia ambiental de 3 días también, programas de Wikimedista en residencia. Tenemos 2 laboratorios anuales, uno de paseos fotográficos, donde se reciben propuestas para hacer paseos. Nosotros estas ideas, en el laboratorio que dura 7 sesiones, vamos trabajando las ideas en sesiones virtuales con participantes de todo el país y su idea se transforma en una propuesta Wikimedia. Y esas propuestas son evaluadas por un jurado y son seleccionadas 3 que son financiadas. Entonces, las propuestas vienen de la comunidad y nosotros vamos aprendiendo también con ellos, ¿no? Y también sintiendo, observando qué es lo que propone la comunidad en temas de ecología, cultura y género para el conocimiento libre, en base al paseo fotográfico, pero también el otro laboratorio que es muy interesante que iniciamos este año es el laboratorio de registro sonoro, en donde en la misma lógica, convocatoria abierta, 20 seleccionados, 3 proyectos financiados, en teoría, buscamos transferir capacidades y una de las cosas que logramos, que fue algo muy importante y estamos orgullosos, es que se recibieron tan buenos proyectos en una convocatoria de microfinanciamientos que hicimos que 7 de esos proyectos de laboratorio se han ejecutado y también nosotros pudimos sostener, acompañar con un equipo de 4 personas a esos 7 proyectos en varias regiones en 3 meses, ¿no? Estamos muy orgullosos de poder estado a la altura de lo que nos decidimos hacer. Hemos aprendido mucho y creemos que hemos aprendido en comunidad también. Y bueno, los proyectos piloto también son una forma de aprender juntos con aliados y comunidades a hacer cosas que no se han hecho antes, ¿no? O sea, trabajar registrando adivinanzas en quechua, trabajando una radio en la Amazonía, en lengua cocama-cocamiri, una lengua en peligro. Hay más de 40 lenguas en Perú. Es también un tema, ¿no? El tema, dentro del eje cultural, el tema de la diversidad epistémica, ¿no? Diversificar las formas de comprender el mundo es también uno de nuestros retos, que no solamente sea una visión occidental, centralizada de Lima, materialista, individualista, sino realmente eh, evidenciar el conocimiento que existen en las mismas comunidades que están hoy en día amenazados por toda esta cultura que los amenaza sus territorios, culturas extractivistas que generan muchos problemas aquí, ¿no? Siguiente. Next. Y bueno, en la descentralización también hemos avanzado mucho. Este es un país grande, en tamaño es más grande que Francia y Alemania juntos, y hemos podido, a través de los programas, los laboratorios y campañas presenciales en Cusco, en Ancash, en Piura, también llegar, ¿no? Llegar como representantes del movimiento, embajadores y así hablar directamente con las personas, ¿no? De manera muy horizontal y a través de nuestros aliados también. Siguiente. Bueno, uno de los retos es la reducida comunidad editora que nos enfrentamos al inicio y un reducido conocimiento de los proyectos. La siguiente. ¿Cómo hemos hecho para superar estos retos? Es tener presencia, nuestra estrategia de comunicación es clave. Estar en redes, estar en grupos de WhatsApp, de Telegram, comunicaciones directas, acompañamiento, reuniones cuando se necesiten, también hacer campañas con aliados y centrarnos en temas que son centrales para el país. Es muy difícil tener tiempo para editar en Perú, para la mayoría de la gente, que puede editar, ¿no? Porque hay gente que ni siquiera puede editar porque no tiene que ganar el sustento económico para sobrevivir el día o la semana. Pero las personas que pueden dar su tiempo, por lo general, en Perú son personas que creen y luchan por una causa, que puede ser la de género, o la ambiental, o la cultural. Y estas personas son estos activistas en estos temas son los que estamos reclutando, ¿no? Con los que nos estamos relacionando y que entienden el impacto de visibilizar los temas de manera abierta y fiable. Siguiente. Y luego, otros retos son la brecha digital, ¿no? La brecha digital es un país con muchas desigualdades, con mucha diversidad, mucho centralismo, colonialidad del saber, del poder. eh, entonces, es muy difícil para la mayoría de gente, como mencionaba, tener una buena conexión, aparte de tener tiempo para editar, ¿no? Entonces, la siguiente. Buscamos cerrar esas brechas digitales, ayudando a las personas a movilizarse a nuestros eventos, brindando también alimentación, también bolsas de datos para conectarse, alquiler de espacios. También tenemos 2 computadoras que hemos comprado muy simples, que a veces las usamos en las citatones, se las prestamos a otras personas. Y también tenemos unos emisores de Wi-Fi y cables, en fin, un montón de equipos que nos ayudan a organizar, ¿no? Como anécdota, yo a veces he organizado muestras de cine y un espacio público del Ministerio de Cultura, y yo mismo he tenido que llevar el parlante y el proyector. Entonces, hay esas necesidades, ¿no? Hay espacios públicos, también comunitarios, que no tienen equipos y tenemos que nosotros ponerlo. Y bueno, también reconocimientos, premios, no solamente en vales de compra de libros, equipos fotográficos, sino también, ahora último, hemos dado 7 reconocimientos a personas de la comunidad de 50 soles, que son en árboles sembrados, ¿no? Por cada premios a estas personas, en acuerdo con ellos, hemos plantado 5 árboles por cada persona. Se han plantado 35 árboles que en 10 años van a estar capturando unas 20 toneladas por año de CO2, ¿no? Entonces, eh, eso es muy bueno para la comunidad y genera mucha credibilidad. Siguiente. Es importante que esto que caminamos, estos valores que caminamos, o los valores que decimos que tenemos, pues los caminemos, ¿no? Next. Next. Hay otras estrategias que tenemos que no estamos mencionando. Es importante también las alianzas con actores dentro de nuestra región. Somos parte de campañas globales de género, ambientales. Somos parte de un grupo de trabajo en justicia climática. ¿Y qué tema o preocupación me gustaría compartir con ustedes? Bueno, nos falta tiempo extra para participar en instancias de mayor envergadura, ¿no? Para mí, Wikimania, pues, por ejemplo, ya hay tanto por hacer aquí que no veo, no vemos el espacio para hacerlo. Más bien, creemos que es el espacio para que vayan personas de nuestra comunidad, como ella fue una persona que ha sido parte de nuestras actividades. Janela estuvo en Wikimania en Polonia. Entonces buscamos que nuestra comunidad asista a espacios y participe, ¿no? Y nosotros ahorita cuidando el núcleo. También hay temas en Commons que tienen que ver con el predominio del inglés, ¿no? Y también su facilidad de uso, ¿no? O sea, hacemos un paseo fotográfico y se suben 20 imágenes o 200 imágenes de tal lugar, de tal sitio arqueológico, y el sitio tiene que estar en la categoría en su nombre en inglés. Entonces, no tiene sentido, ¿no? En vez de decir Parque Nacional Huascarán, es Huascarán National Park, hay personas en nuestra comunidad que no hablan inglés. Entonces, no hay mucho sentido en eso, ¿no? Siguiente. Esa es la última. Y si esa es la última, bueno, esas son algo de... bueno, ¿qué buscamos de soporte de la fundación para hacer el networking necesario para fortalecer nuestra sostenibilidad, ¿no? Estamos buscando diversificar nuestra fuente de financiamiento, pero sí requeriríamos el apoyo de WMF, de la fundación. Ya hemos postulado, por ejemplo, a fondos de UNESCO, fondos de nuestro ministerio, pero a veces es difícil cuando ya un financista ve que te ha financiado la Fundación Wikimedia. Entonces, pedir a otro financista que te financie es difícil en Perú, ¿no? Tal vez en Europa, pucha, nos gustaría tener apoyo del gobierno vasco. Yo sé que el gobierno vasco no solamente apoya a Wikimedia en el País Vasco, sino también apoya proyectos aquí en Perú. Y bueno, también procesos comunitarios para ver temas como la Carta del Movimiento y mejora significativa de la experiencia del usuario en Commons, que ya habíamos hablado. Eso creo que ahí es todo lo que teníamos por compartir. Muchas gracias. Espero les haya sido de interés.
Thank you so much, Carlo and Melissa, for sharing these insights. Maybe we can just quickly take one question, which is specific to you and Lisa from the retro board, and then we will move for the Q&A session. So as you can see, the first question is, what is your capacity building focusing on? Is it related to on-wiki skills or the off-wiki skills or both?
Bueno, yo puedo responder la primera y Melissa la segunda. Hacemos transferencia de capacidades en el uso de las plataformas Wiki, principalmente Wikipedia en castellano y Commons. También hemos trabajado en Wiktionario. Justo ahora, este sábado, tenemos un taller de Wiktionario en quechua, aquí en la ciudad donde estoy. Pero también en gestión del ciclo de proyecto de actividad Wikimedia, ¿no? De cómo es el presupuesto, cómo es el equipo, el plan de comunicaciones, el plan de sistematización, cómo implementar la política de procesos amigables. O sea, transferimos capacidades en cómo organizar actividades Wikimedia. Es así como funciona el laboratorio, los laboratorios, también programas de microfinanciamientos, y es así que se genera agencia en la comunidad. O sea, la única manera de ser comunidad es distribuyendo los recursos a la comunidad. Entonces, eso se hace tanto on-wiki como off-wiki. O sea, tenemos eventos presenciales donde nos reunimos, donde hacemos cosas, pero también preparamos todo esto virtualmente, y también hay eventos que hacemos virtualmente, ¿no? Talleres de edición. Entonces, es eso que estamos haciendo, y también estamos aprendiendo a trabajar con comunidades originarias. Tenemos un proyecto piloto que busca eso, ¿no? Cómo trabajar con comunidades originarias de una manera sensible, ética, de manera que no sea extractivista, ¿no? No es, vamos a crear 100.000 palabras en tal idioma, Kokama, Kokamiria o Shipio, Konibo, cuando es alguien que no lo habla, que el que se le está creando, ¿no? La idea es que la misma comunidad lo haga, pero también con una legitimidad. Entonces también buscamos aprender a hacerlo, porque la cultura de nuestro país y las culturas de nuestro país son diversas y únicas, y hay que hacerlo con ellos, ¿no? Aprender con ellos a hacer cosas Wikimedia. Entonces, en eso lo estamos enfocando en la transferencia de capacidades, que es mutuo, ¿no? Y por eso tenemos en nuestro cuarto eje estratégico el tema de gestión del conocimiento. Buscamos sistematizar las lecciones aprendidas y difundirlas a nuestra comunidad, a la comunidad del movimiento y a las personas que ni siquiera imaginamos del futuro. Eso.
Thank you so much, Carlo. And Melissa, would you like to add anything to this question? The first one, what is your capacity building focusing on?
No, but I could answer the second one, if that's all right for you.
Okay, now we will open the room for the Q&A. We are perfectly on time. So in the next 15 minutes, we will be addressing all the rest of the questions that we have left unanswered from the retro board or maybe in the chat. And I'm aware that Mercedes has also a set of questions that she would like to facilitate with the participants. So I'll open the room for Q&A.
Thank you very, very much for Serine. So the idea is to maybe pick a couple of questions that I have for you. And also Chino will be helping also to select some of the unanswered questions that we have here on the retro board for everybody to answer. And so first of all, thank you very much for preparing for the hard work you've been doing all this time, and for the fascinating lessons that you have been sharing with us today. I was planning on asking one question to Serbia, one to the Basque group, and one to WikiAccion. And then we will go to ask the questions from the retro board, if that's okay. So I'm going to do a serious one and then a fun one. The serious one for Serbia, and it's, you know, I was listening to your efforts to decentralize your work in Serbia. And so I was wondering if you have already like a concretely defined strategy for decentralization, or how do you approach decentralization efforts in Serbia? So I don't know if you can, Ivana, share a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we do have. This is a part of our strategy and our strategic plan. Mainly we are working on giving grants for volunteers throughout the Serbia. And this is really working well. I mentioned micro grants. So this is the thing where when in the selection process, we are looking like, okay, we can give the opportunity for people from different cities and different towns in Serbia. So mainly we are focusing on micro grants and annual grants. But for a lot of other activities, we are trying to let's say see the structure of participants. So if we are having a local conference, then we are trying to attract more people from Serbia. If we are having micro grants or annual grants program, we are trying to involve more organization and individuals within them. We are using a lot of different communication channels as well. So in terms of external communication channels such as portals or Discord or any other communication channels within the community. So yeah, this is our part of our plan, and we are trying to create those smaller teams in different cities, and then to actually at our events and meetups to network these people so they can work together if they have similar projects or ideas.
Thank you very much. And please, if the other two groups have anything to add about any of the questions regarding decentralization efforts or strategies or any other thing, please jump in and share. Because I think the value of this is like what I think is like knowledge transfer drops of wisdom, even that it's shared across all the efforts you're doing. I'll move to one question to the Basque group. And this is very much, I know Wikipedia is like an amazing project and it's very particular to your community. But Galder, you said something around, that this type of effort is worth it for smaller language. And I was wondering if you can expand a little bit. I'm thinking that here we have some, at least from the Latin American communities, we have people from indigenous backgrounds attending today, as well as groups that work with indigenous groups. So I don't know if you can share a bit of your wisdom about that effort for smaller language groups.
Wisdom is a large word. I'm trying to explain why I say that. If you try to do search for children materials in English, also in Spanish, French, and I guess that in German, Russian, and Chinese also exist, you have plenty of those on the internet. I mean, you have a lot of things on, and having the effort to make a children's encyclopedia is, I mean, it could be also interesting for English, Spanish, whatever, but it can be more difficult because there are very cultural backgrounds that are different. For smaller languages, there is nothing like that. And when I'm saying that for Basque, that is I mean, we have newspapers and we have a cultural industry and we have films in Basque, and I can go now to Amazon to see the Rings of Power in Basque. So it's a large language in that aspect. But for many indigenous communities and for many smaller languages, there are no learning materials in that language. So building a children's encyclopedia is not something that is only funny and interesting. It's also something that, I mean, children are in the school and they have the right to read in their language. And that's one of the things we are working on. I know that, for example, agreeing on what to put on what not, if we go to Portuguese, for example, it was difficult because they tried to make something similar and it was contentious. But for some other languages, and we have been here working with some languages in Central America that were interested in the topic, there was even more interesting to have something for children and something for adults. And that's also interesting. I mean, we can also make projects for children that are not all the seriousness that full encyclopedia for adults have, without even needing that. And I think that that is an interesting approach. If we don't do it, no one is going to do that. And that's the main case for 98% of the languages in the world. So I think that when I said that it's interesting for smaller Wikipedias, I'm not saying that. I mean, French have Wikipedia, that is an external thing that works great, and they have like 45,000 articles, something like that. So yeah, other languages also need that. But in our case, it's very specific that it's something that is inside Wikipedia. You have all the knowledge that the Wikipedia brand has, and you can work on top of that without needing to make a whole effort outside. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah. Well, I think it's something that it's an endless subject regarding languages. So, well, thank you very much. And I know, Melissa, you have a question. I understand you have a question.
She wanted to answer one of the questions.
Go ahead. Which one do you want to answer?
Y solo quería agregar muy brevemente sobre cuál es nuestra visión sobre el crecimiento de la comunidad de voluntarios. Nosotros pensamos que es importante que haya núcleos autónomos en las distintas regiones de Perú, ¿no? Así como hay un WikiAccion Perú, pueden haber otros WikiAccion Perú, quizás con otro nombre, en las regiones de nuestro país y pueden funcionar de manera completamente autónoma, ¿no? Entonces creemos que pueden haber más comunidades como la nuestra. Y eso buscamos, ¿no? Eso nos gustaría que se logre en los siguientes 5 años, por ejemplo, ¿no? Solo eso.
Muchas gracias, Melissa. Y ahora me gustaría profundizar un poco. El grupo de WikiAccion Perú es un grupo que ha sido como pasito a pasito. Es un grupo que, por ejemplo, tenemos aquí una diversidad. Por un lado tenemos Serbia, que es un capítulo, tenemos al grupo de usuarios de Basco, del País Vasco, y tenemos a un grupo que no es un afiliado, no sé si lo será en algún momento, pero es una asociación civil en Perú, muy bien articulada, haciendo trabajo interesante, y perdón que me pase a español. Pero bueno, pues voy a hablar con ustedes. Entonces, bueno, solo me gustaría reconocer lo interesante que ha sido su trabajo de ir paso a paso, de ir construyendo, y un poco me gustaría que le nutrieran al grupo de Galder, cómo ha sido su experiencia en armar proyectos o programas o ejes de trabajo en 3 rubros, que son cultura, ecología y género, y cómo le recomendarían a otros armar un equipo, porque tiene que ver con armar un equipo que sabe de los temas, tiene que ver con establecer alianzas que trabajan en esas diferentes líneas temáticas, tiene que ver con identificar recursos para financiar y para sustentar, digamos, estas líneas temáticas. Entonces, ¿qué podríamos aprender de ustedes con relación a este tejido de 3 temáticas y también cómo se vinculan entre sí?
Bueno, yo puedo empezar. En nuestro caso, el eje ecología lo ve Carlo, es quien dirige la estrategia, quien evalúa las actividades, y yo veo el eje género. Y el eje cultura, como es algo que nos atraviesa, lo vemos ambos, ¿no? Y hay campañas en las que esos 3 ejes se juntan también, ¿no? Entonces, por ejemplo, en los laboratorios a los que convoca a Carlo, ya sea de paseos fotográficos o de registro sonoro, llegan proyectos de los 3 ejes, ¿no? Entonces los vamos canalizando, lo vamos llevando al eje en el cual se va a poder manejar. Y al mismo tiempo compartimos el coliderazgo, entonces sí tenemos como roles muy específicos, pero nos apoyamos mucho de la parte comunicativa, ¿no? Entonces, todo lo que es comunicación de esta campaña ya no lo vemos nosotros porque sería, pues, sumamente desgastante, sino que lo ve una persona específicamente, ¿no? Entonces, el modelo nos ha funcionado bastante bien. Igual nos pasa que recibimos proyectos todo el tiempo, que viene gente todo el tiempo queriendo hacer cosas con nosotros. Entonces tenemos que ver la forma de canalizarlo. Entonces podemos decirle a alguien que quiere hacer un proyecto, mejor espera a la convocatoria de laboratorio y ahí vamos a apoyarte, ¿no? Específicamente con tu idea, ¿no? A veces también tenemos que decir que no a proyectos que no van con nuestros ejes, con nuestra misión. Y hay otro grupo en Perú, que son wikimedistas de Perú, que sí ven cosas más como de las plataformas Wikimedia, como algo más amplio, y muchas veces les hemos derivado proyectos, ¿no? Creemos que esto les puede servir más a ustedes que a nosotros, ¿no? Creo que mm, más o menos así le estamos manejando. Carlos, ¿te gustaría agregar algo?
Sí, bueno, no vemos separación tampoco entre, si bien tenemos funciones específicas, no vemos separación entre esos temas de, de ecología, cultura y género, ¿no? Todas están relacionadas los derechos y es una visión que viene de este mismo territorio. Las culturas tradicionales y ancestrales, la visión es dual, complementaria, en equilibrio. O sea, la energía masculina y lo femenino están en equilibrio. Y un poco lo que está amenazando y violentando a lo femenino, que está simbolizado por la tierra, la ecología, por los cuerpos, las mujeres, las culturas originarias, todas las violencias, de alguna manera van hacia lo femenino hoy en día, ¿no? Con el patriarcado. Entonces, ahí se juntan y muchas personas que empiezan a editar en ecología, luego están editando también en género, en las editatones o al revés también. Personas que ahora desde el eje género-cultura quieren participar en el evento de justicia climática en Huaraz, porque ven claramente que no se puede defender solamente un derecho, ¿no? Tú defiendes los derechos de todos, si no es una secta lo que estás haciendo. Se trabaja holísticamente. Eso. Gracias.
Muchísimas gracias por este compartir. Yo creo que es súper importante ver que en realidad se entretejen, no es como silos que no se tocan, sino realmente tal vez esto te da algunas pistas, Galder, y a otros sobre cómo armar, digamos, programas que si bien no es exacto lo mismo, por lo menos se interlazan y se tocan en ciertos modos. Y bueno, aquí están para seguir conversando. I'm going to then give the floor to Chino because he will continue to touch on some of the questions we have on the retro board. Chino, please go ahead.
Thank you so much, Mercedes. This is, it didn't feel like a virtual meeting, actually. It kind of gave us the impression of a real panel discussion. Thank you so much, Mercedes, for facilitating it. And Melissa, Galder, Ivana, Carlo, it was wonderful to take your insights. So in the interest of time, we will, we will jump to our group reflection. This is open to everyone, to the sharers, to the participants in the room, that what is the one thing that you learned today from all these 3 program case studies that you witnessed? So what is that one thing that you learned that you could use at your work? And we will continue this reflection for next 10 minutes. In the meantime, I would request the sharers, you can visit the retro board if you want to answer any of the questions that you feel that has not been unanswered in your field. You can share the response in the chats. And I would request everyone for the reflection, if you can go to the retro board. I'll paste the retro board link in the chat, or maybe who wants to go on mute and share your learning today. We would love to hear that. Here goes the Easy Retro Board link, and the last column is designated for our reflection. As you can see on the screen, what is the one thing that you learned today that you could use at your work? We heard about strategies, we heard about different significant contributions. We learned about how to managing various aspects of a fruitful grant. What are the challenges the different user groups has faced? So what is that your takeaway from this learning? We would love to hear about it. And yes, this has not to do with anything with the language. If you are not comfortable sharing in English, please do share in Spanish or French. We will get it translated to English. Okay, I volunteer here too, since I'm already on mic. I liked what I learned from the WikiAccion Peru's case studies. Carlo, Melissa, the explanation was precise. The challenges were related as you adopted were quite reasonably accepted for me coming from a small affiliate. I liked it. Thank you so much. That's my takeaway from the day. And also, Galder and Ivana, the way you explained what are the step-by-step strategies that you followed. And I really appreciate the work that you are doing and the experience that you shared, Galder, with your daughter and her school. That was interesting, inspiring. That is my takeaway for the day. Okay, we see responses on the retro board. Community retention approaches. Yes, that's a good one. Also, how privileged we are with good internet. Yes, we do acknowledge people face difficulties with internet, electricity, power supplies, basically accessibility. We had a question related to the technological improvements. I remember it is for Galder. What are your priorities for technological improvements? If you look at the 5th question on the column,
Well, that's a
maybe you
quite difficult question because there are many priorities, but I mean, we have to know how our audiences are, or future audiences that are not the one that will come in 20 years, but the one that are now starting to read. And they are very focused on also multimedia. They want interactive content. They want very different content. So our platform is heavily based on text. And everything that is not text actually is not working very properly. We have a good platform for images. Could be better, but Commons works with images, but it doesn't work with text. It doesn't work with audio. It doesn't work with video. It doesn't work properly. I mean, it works. You can upload it. It doesn't work natively. Cards have been broken for 1.5 years, and the new cards won't be as good as the other ones were. So having interactive content, having different ways of learning, that's important. And we are not focusing on that. We are focusing on really very random things like trying to add a button to Instagram or something like that, or making other things with trying to get to the artificial intelligence hype, instead of really having our platform like a place that people want to be there. And so where will I be centered? The main thing I will be investing in will be making Commons work, because there is where videos, audios, and other media can reside. And we can have a good PDF reader. We can read books, like for example, for Wikisource. We can have a good audio platform to make educative podcasts. We can have a better video solution that is not translating everything to WebM. We can't even upload videos from mobile. So something that makes things better for video consuming. And I think that will be something to think in the future, but it's not something that will be there, like we have it better in 20 years. It's something that we should have better 5 years ago. So now we are in a hurry. I don't know, Wikimedia Foundation has lots of money. They could invest on that, but they are not doing it.
That is quite reasonable, Galder. And this explains a lot of aspects that is related to the technological challenges that we face in our contribution in the world. I see your comment that you wanted to leave. So yeah, please feel free to leave, Galder. Thank you so much for your time, effort, and insights.
And you have to pick up my children now. Thank you.
Thank you. We see the next takeaway as communications is essential for the community. Yes, we do accept that. Also, having multilingual support is always an add-on for all kind of versatile communication that we do. Somebody has written that learned about Wikipedia. I only knew about Wikipedia. Okay, that is one thing that I also learned. I didn't know about the existence actually. So thanks to the shares. Also, ideas of making decentralization effort of something concrete. Yes, that is wonderful. And last one is a feedback. Okay. Okay. For the last 1 minute, maybe I would open the floor to Melissa and Carlo and Ivana. If you want to answer any of the remaining questions, please feel free to pick one and respond to it. If not, that is also fine.
I just want to mention that. Oh, sorry.
It's
I just want to
okay.
mention that I added my responses in the comments, so we can move to Melissa and Carlo if they want to answer more, because there are more questions there.
I was also responding in the comments some of the questions, and I just wanted to say very briefly that what Galder mentioned about the Wikimedia platforms and how they are outdated resonates a lot with us. It's a contrast with what is going on in the rest of the other platforms in the internet and the ones in the Wikimedia movement. It's very difficult to address for us. People notice that, and it's a huge challenge that it would be amazing if the Wikimedia Foundation address it at some point.
Thank you so much, Ivana, Carlo, Elisa. This was a very fruitful interaction, and thank you, Mercedes, Agnes, for all your support. Cassie, can I request you to please stop the recording? We are moving for the closing.
Yes, 1 second. Thank you.